Hello, and thank you for inviting me. I'm Terry Moss, and today I'll discuss the fiduciary responsibilities that were raised from questions in a Bloomberg article about the Robin Hood Foundation in 2007. The purpose of this presentation is to garner an understanding of whose assets the Board of Trustees and the employees are managing for the foundation. Here is some background information on the Robin Hood Foundation. Their mission is to fight poverty in New York City. In 2007, a 31-member board governed this nonprofit organization. Sitting on the board were 7 members who managed hedge funds in which the foundation had invested some of their assets to build a rainy day fund. The fund had grown over a decade from $20 million to over $144 million. So whose assets were the Board of Trustees and the employees managing? The answer is the Robin Hood Foundation assets. Where we go awry in this case is the hedge funds that were being managed by the 7 board members were also receiving their standard fees of 2% assets and 20% of the profit. This was seen by some as a conflict of interest for those board members receiving the fees as well as sitting on the board and profiting right along with the Robin Hood Foundation. Even though the letter of the law was followed, the perception from the outside was the appearance of self-dealing, not unlike insider trading. What does this mean in terms of fiduciary responsibility? Fiduciary responsibility is acting in good faith to the interest of another. It is intended to be selfless. Any suspicion of self-dealing is perceived as a selfish act, whether it is legal or not, but it is very damaging to the reputation of the nonprofit. Questions were raised congressionally about the potential conflict of interest. Senator Charles Grassley of Iowa stated, "I'm worried that I'm seeing more and more that suggest that some hedge fund and private equity managers view charitable donations as a chance to do well for themselves and forget it is about doing good for others." In July of 2007, the Board of Directors decided that their organizational funds would no longer be invested in hedge funds that were ran by their board members. This was a swift response to the public questioning that arose from the Bloomberg article that broke in mid-July. So why was it so important to them to change their investing policy? Board members acted swiftly because they didn't want anything to distract from the intention of the gift, and because one person could not accomplish what they could do as a group. An unbeliever in Rome wrote of Christians in the first century church, and this is how your organization should operate today. They pass their days on earth, but they are citizens of heaven. They obey the prescribed laws, and at the same time, they surpass the laws by their lives. This response ties to the statement, "Live in such a way that if anyone would speak badly of you, no one would believe it," which is drawn from the verse, 1 Peter 2:12, New Living Translation. "Be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior, and they will give honor to God when He judges the world." How you run your board is how your organization will run. Your decisions and actions have lasting effect. If your actions are questioned, this will distract from the overall mission of the nonprofit. Do not let your actions ever be questioned. Thank you for your time, and I'll open up the floor for dialogue.